Hello everyone, and welcome to another evening of Creating Together. I'm so glad that you're here joining me. This is actually a pre-recorded one tonight because I had another commitment, but feel free to leave comments and that because I will definitely be looking at them and be able to respond to that. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'm doing a Create With Me tonight. Now I haven't done one of these for a while, and I'm going to try to make a commitment to do one at least once a month. So it's just so much fun to get your supplies out and do some creating together. So it's a fairly simple one, and it's just easy to use what you have on hand. Now I'm going to be popping down to my desktop and we'll get started right away. So there we go, and we'll just do this transition. And hopefully you saw the supplies listed ahead of time. I'm just going to get the computer up and going too here. And so I've got them all. I'm going to give you them again here just in case you didn't see the list ahead of time. And there we go. And if you want to shop with me, here is where you can go to my website, and then if you click on shop now, then you will be able to shop right away. And if your order is less than $200, please use the hostess code. That's great. If you forget, no worries, I can get that sorted out. So what we're going to do today is make this card here. So it's very straightforward. You can do it in whatever colors you want. I'm featuring the soft succulent, one of the new in colors. The new in colors have been such a huge hit this year. So let's see what pieces we need. I'm going to be using a piece of cardstock. I'm using Thick Whisper White, but you can use whatever color you want. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So it's just your basic card shape. So let's just do that right now and fold it over. Bring in our bone folder and burnish that fold. There we go. Now we've got our basic card front ready to go. Then we have a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4. Since I'm on the soft succulent theme tonight, mine is in the soft succulent. And now, whoops, send everything flying. This is sheer vellum, and it's 2 by 5 1/2. Now, it does not have to be sheer vellum. It could be designer paper. It could be coordinating cardstock. It could be the same cardstock, whatever you want to use. But I'm using the sheer vellum because I love it so much, and I just want to use it on everything. And I like how it looks here. Then you need a shape for your words. So depending what greeting you're going to use, mine's going to fit on this shape here. So I used a die cut, but it could be you could slice it on your trimmer, whatever, as long as it's going to fit the words that you choose. And then you need a decorative shape. I chose to use something that was more long and slimish because I wanted it to go like this. Now it could be flowers, it could be trees, it could be whatever you want, or it could be a few shapes here. So you could build it up. So that's what I'm using here. So whatever you want to use. Now I got this from the die set Forever Flourishing. It was a huge hit. We've had it for a year now. It's got all these wonderful leaves and ferns and everything like that. And it coordinates with this Forever Ferns, the stamp set right here. So some of the dies actually cut out the stamped images. So that's just something to be aware of if that interests you. So let's bring in our different pieces. So we're going to work with this first off. We're going to work with this piece here. And I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting than it is. You can use it just as is. But in the Forever Fern, there are these little splotches or speckles. I'm going to bring them in. I've got them mounted, and I'm going to open up the soft succulent here. I'm just going to put the card to the side so I don't get it yucky. And I'm going to ink this up, and I'm just going to randomly stamp. So the thing with randomly stamping is you can use like first, second, third impressions, so you get that variety, and part of them should be going off the edges, and just don't think about it too much. If you overthink it, then it sometimes becomes a bit of a chore. Now what I'm going to do is put this on. Is there any place, I think I could use a little bit more, and I don't want it to be dark, so I'm going to stamp it off once, and oh, sure, there we go. I've got plenty on there. So now we're going to take that as it is like that. Now what I did with this one here is I sponged the edges. So I have one that does not have the edges sponged, and I'm going to sponge this one, and then you can decide which one you like the best. So I just thought it added a little more dimension. I'm using the blending brush here, and I've got a few of them. So this brush is just, I've designated for green, and I start off the page and then work my way on and just use circular motions. And at first it looks like absolutely nothing is happening, but you gradually build up the color, and it is, whoops, I got a little carried away there, didn't I? So you can see, so I'll work at getting that, or I could flip it over, because there's always two sides to your paper, all right? So that was caused by thinking I was putting it down on there, but the camera was blocking the view, and I actually put it down on the cardstock. So there we go. Just keep layering it up until you're happy. I'm going to put a bit more here just to kind of make it look like I had planned that dark spot. And this is, I just find it so soothing to be using these blending brushes like that. And then to clean it, you just go like that until it doesn't leave any ink anymore. So there we go. Now I'm going to close this up for a minute. So I don't know if you can see the difference on camera. I can definitely see it in real life. This is the uninked one, and this is the inked one, and it just adds a different look. So it depends what look you are looking for, and you've got it going like that. Now on here, I added one more piece of interest, and I forgot to bring it over here, I think. I embossed it as well. So I used an embossing folder, the Tasteful Textile embossing folder, and I've just got to reach for it because I got busy and cleaned up. So I'm going to put it in here. Now I always do all my stamping and inking on anything beforehand, and I'm going to line it up. See how there's a line there? That helps you keep it all straight. Let me just bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. And I'm going to raise the camera up a bit because this is very close. There we go. Now this is what we call a 3D embossing folder. So what we do is we take the platform that normally you use, and you take absolutely everything off and just keep the platform. Then you bring in your embossing folder and put the fold side first. So here's the fold like that. And then you're going to bring in the plate number 4, which is for the 3D embossing folders. It is thicker, and it's designed to work with the 3D ones specifically. So let's run it through. And a few years ago, we had a blue one, and it works the same. So it's regardless if you have the blue or the gray, they work the same, and you're good to go. So let's get rid of all these pieces now and open up the embossing folder. And now we have added even a little bit more interest to our background. So you can keep things as simple as you want, or you can add interest to your backgrounds, and that's important to know sometimes. So now we can fasten this right down to our card. Get that out of the way. And it doesn't matter what adhesive you use. You could use the seal. You know that I really like the multi-purpose liquid glue because it helps, I can always wiggle things around a little bit better. So there, we've got that layer there. And I've chosen to put that smudge here because I'm going to have more happening over here and it'll be less obvious, I think. Now we're going to do all of our rest of our work for the next little while right on here. Whoops, I forgot one step. I want to stamp on here, and I'm just going to stamp the word hello. It is from the Forever Fern stamp set as well. There's some great words in that stamp set. Let me just show it to you again. So here it is, Forever Fern, and I'm using the hello here. But there's like, you can do this to a friend who makes me smile. There's all kinds of good words in there. So I'm going to ink this up. Now, normally I would stamp and then cut it out. But for the sake of the video, I am living dangerously. And woo, I did just fine. So there we go. We've got that like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to build everything on the vellum first. Now, if you were using designer paper or cardstock, it wouldn't be so important. But with the vellum, I'm building on the vellum first because afterwards I'm going to use underneath what I've built on here to glue it down. That'll make sense. You might say, Lillian, that made no sense at all. It will in a few minutes. So often I use our adhesive sheets when I'm doing intricate die cuts, but I forgot here. So I'm just putting tiny dots of our multi-purpose liquid glue, and it doesn't have to be on every one, just here, there, and everywhere, just rather randomly. And I'm going to bring that in, and I'm using my silicone mat because I think I put some on that are going to stick over the edge, and this will be just so forgiving. So there we go. I think I like it like that. Now the hello I want to put on dimensionals, so I'm going to bring in my dimensionals and I'll put a couple on there, like that. Now let's see, make sure I get hello kind of straight. There we go. So we've got it like that. Now to put adhesive on this vellum, and I'm just going to flip that over, I can go on the back and apply my adhesive where these the words and the die cut is, and the adhesive's not going to show through the vellum. Now I find that this shimmer vellum is pretty forgiving. It handles adhesive better than regular vellum, but I like to be safe rather than sorry. So I'm just going to randomly put some down, and that should be good. And now for sure, the adhesive is not going to show through. So let's move this out of the way now. And we'll put this on here. I sometimes like to turn my card sideways for this step. And this vellum is going top to bottom. If you didn't like that look, you could cut it a little bit shorter, make it 5 1/4 inches, and stop where the cardstock is. So now we have our basic look right here. I'm also going to do something here. I had some little pieces of vellum left, so I'm going to put some adhesive on here, and you'll see how forgiving this vellum is. And I'm going to let that adhesive dry a little bit while we're doing the next few steps, and then you're going to see what I'm using that for. All right, I'm going to bring in my mini glue dots, and I've used this gorgeous, gorgeous soft succulent ribbon. It is called the Soft Succulent Open Weave Ribbon. So this ribbon comes in all of the new in colors. I've used it before. It is gorgeous and it is easy to work with. And I've already tied a bow just because sometimes tying a bow on camera adds a little bit of stress. Plus, I was making a whole bunch of these, and I thought I would just keep going. So now I'm going to put the bow here. So that kind of brings that together like that. And now I can't make it without a few embellishments, right? And there are jewels that match all of the in colors, and they're called the 2021 to 2023 in color jewels. So let's bring them out. As you can see, I've been using them. Now these were out of stock for quite a while, but they're back in stock, so you can get them again. So this is wonderful. So they come in two sizes. This one that's a little bit larger, and then a couple of little ones. Let's see. I will put one. Oh, I'll put one here, and one on the words. And that's how easy and simple it is to make a card like this. And I'm sure you can picture that you could do this with any numbers of colors and designs and die cuts and that kind of thing. And you might say, well, Lillian, what are you doing with this piece over here? Well, because it was a scrap, I put it in here, and you see the glue didn't show through. So I'm carrying that vellum look over into the inside. I'm just going to put it down here just as a way. Now, I could easily stamp the inside or whatever, but this paper is so pretty, I didn't want any scrap to go to waste. So that's how I finished off the inside, just like that. So I hope that you are able to use this design, and that you will not only make these cards, but that you will share them in the comment section below. And if you're saying, well, I'm not sure how to share a picture of my card, what you do is where you make your comment, when you type in your comment, if you look towards the end, you'll see a picture of a camera. You click on that, and then you can go to your pictures and click on the picture you want, and it will upload it. So just before we finish, I just have a few cards that I want to share with you. Now, remember the alcohol and blends technique that I did last week? And it's been such a huge hit, and you people have been having so much fun with it. Well, I received a card from my upline, Karen Duke, and here it is. And she only did that technique in one area, like that. So isn't that a stunning card? I just love it. So you don't have to cover the whole of the vellum. You can do just an area. And as to what colors she used, I'm guessing, but it looks like Fresh Freesia, Night of Navy, Bermuda Bay, and maybe a yellow, or maybe that's just how the inks turned when they combined. So I'm not sure there. And then on the weekend, on Saturday, we had a great Canadian demonstrator event. It was all online, of course, but one of them was some mystery stamping where we're told the pieces, just sort of like we did tonight, and then we create together. And this is what mine turned out like. So I was pleased with that. It was lots of fun, and with demonstrators all across Canada from coast to coast, posting what they did. There was just so many different varieties, and some people did theirs this way and so on. So it's just lots of fun. Then in my newsletter, once a month, I do a free tutorial, and I just wanted to share this month's free tutorial. I'm just loving the Lighthearted Lines stamp set. So here's one, Don't Grow Up, It's a Trap. And so another card made with the same stamp set. This one is a different verse from that stamp set, and it's to a person who's still got it, but might not know where to find it. Happy birthday. So you might say, Lillian, what stamp set is that? This is it here. I think I've talked about it before. Lighthearted Lines here, like thanks for lending an ear and keeping a straight face. I hate to break it to you, but you're stuck with me, friends forever. Plot twist, and so on. So there, if you're looking for a stamp set that has fun words, this might be the one you're looking for. So that is tonight's video, and I so thank you for joining me. Remember, the the best compliment you can give me is to share, or if you're on YouTube, if you subscribe. Those are all super compliments that you can give me, or just comment and like, and also show what you're making. That would be wonderful. Enjoy the longest daylight day of the year and enjoy all this gorgeous weather we're having. Take care and bye-bye.